Kadosh Pokatov, we're going to continue with Kuftet Vav Amud Aleph, the new chapter, the new perek of Kol Kitveh. Okay, 115A1. So says or A2, it all depends how it works. Fine, says the Mishnah, Kol Kitveh HaKodesh, Matzilin Otan Mipnei Adleka. Let me just turn off the AC. Kol Kitveh HaKodesh, Matzilin Otan Mipnei Adleka. So any type of Kitveh HaKodesh, holy scriptures, you may even save it from a fire on Shabbat. Ben Shekurim and Ben Shekurim, whether they actually read publicly from them in the Bet Knesset or not, which means it doesn't matter whether it's certain types of Ketuvim or certain parts of Haftarot that they don't read. It doesn't matter, right? Kitveh HaKodesh, you're allowed to come and you're allowed to read from it. You're allowed to save it from a fire on Shabbat. Also, if it's going to be written in any language, even other than Hebrew, right? And they have to be placed in Genizah. So it means they would have to be placed, right, in Genizah in itself, okay? Which means that, obviously if something happened to it or whatever it is, you have to place it in Genizah, which means you don't just throw it out in the garbage, you have to bury it, and that's why they take it to the cemetery. So why do we not read from these? So because of the neglect of Bet HaMidrash, which means, right, many times they used to do like on Shabbatot afternoon, right, they used to do many things. So in order to maximize attendance, they used to read Ketuvim, because people would, if not, people won't come. So therefore they wanted to learn about, different parts of the Ketuvim, which are the scriptures. So they wanted to do all these things. So that's why they used to do it. Okay? That's why they do not read it on Shabbat, because if not, people will not show up. Fine. Says the Gemara, Itmar, it was stated, Hayu Ketuvim Targum or Bechol Lashon. If any of these scriptures were written in Aramaic, in Targum, or in any other language, other than Hebrew, Lashon HaKodesh, Ravuna says, you do not save it. That means according to Shittat Ravuna, it's only if it's written in Lashon HaKodesh, you save it from a fire. If not, you just leave it there. Okay? You do save it from a fire. So according to the Tana that says that you do read from them, even if it's going to be in another language, then all the more so, then you're going to save it. So when is a machroket? According to Manda Amar, that you don't read it if it's not going to be in Hebrew. So Ravuna says em matzlin, and why deha lo nitunu, because you're not supposed to read from it on Shabbat. And Chassid says you're allowed to save it because of bizayon, kitvei HaKodesh. It's a disgrace to all these scriptures. And according to the Chassid, whether you could read from it or not read from it, at the end of the day, it's a disgrace. Disgrace is a disgrace. So therefore, you're allowed to read from it. Tonight we learned to the Mishnah. Kol kitvei HaKodesh matzilin otam mipnei adleka. Any holy scriptures may be saved from a fire, but you're allowed to save it from a fire. Ben shekorim bahen and ben shein korim bahen, whether we read from them or whether we don't read from them, afal pi shektuvim b'chol lashon, even though they're going to be written in any other language. So my love is it not, right? Shekorim bahen neviim, right? That we read from them when it's going to be neviim. Shein korim bahen ketuvim, and if it's not going to be read as ketuvim, meaning the neviim is where we get all our haftarot from. The ketuvim, we don't get haftarot from ketuvim. Ketuvim are the megillot, tivrei yamim, right? Teilim, things like that. Afal pi sheketuvim b'chol lashon, they lo nitnu b'hem likor b'hem, because you don't read from them. Ekatani matzlim, we still said you read it, you may save it. So tiyufta derav Huna. So this is a question against Ravuna, which means that what we're trying to be medayek is that if you don't read it, you're still allowed to save it. So that's against Ravuna. Ravuna said only if you read it, you're allowed to save it. So Ravuna is going to answer you, V'tisbara, is it logical? Ema Seifa, let's say the Seifa of the Mishnah. You have to put it in Genizah. Hashta atzulim etzalinan. Genizah mibai. If you're allowed to save it from a fire, you have to tell me that it's obligated Genizah. Obviously, if you're allowed to save it from a fire and you don't just let it get burned, so obviously you have to put it in Genizah. So Ela Ravuna metaretz tameh v'Rav Chasda, each one answers according to his reasoning. Why? Ravuna is going to answer according to his reasoning, right? Ben shekorim b'hem neviim, ben shein korim b'hem ketuvim. Whether you read from it, which is neviim, or you don't read from it, it's ketuvim. Amed, when you one of these words, sheketuvim lashon kodesh, only if it's written in Hebrew and lashon kodesh. But if it's going to be in any other language, you don't save it. But even though you don't save it, you would still get geniza. That's a chidush. That means even though you don't save it on Shabbat, but you're still required to put in geniza. And so according to his reasoning, whether you read from it, which is Nevi'im, or you don't read from it, which is Ketuvim, even though it's written in any other language, you still save it. This is what it means to say. And even their decay needs geniza. It means even though it became already, decayed particles from the scrolls, and it already withered out, or things like that, it would still need geniza. Okay? So now it says again, when I'm Meitvei, we're going to challenge this. We're going to ask a question against Rav Huna. If it was written in Aramaic or in any other language, you're going to save it because of the deleka. So to Tivta de Rav Huna, that's against Rav Huna. So Rav Huna is going to answer you, this Tana maintains that the translations, you actually may read from the translations and there's no problem. Okay, Tashma, we're going to bring another proof.
Parashat Zachor, we're allowed to read in Lashon Chol, no? If somebody cannot attend to the Bet HaKnesset, he might read the Parashat of Amalek in French or in English, I don't know.
Well, that's because it's Toraita, but it's not that, and that's Torah. We're not talking about Torah. We're talking about Nevi'im Uktuvim.
Only Nevi'im Uktuvim, okay.
Yeah, only Nevi'im Uktuvim. 100%. Now, obviously, again, you're also speaking about the Doraita, because since the Doraita is Parashat Zachor, so you have to understand what you're saying. So that's why they say that you read in your own language, and now I'm having in mind, I'm going to eradicate and abolish the name of Amalek. So it's going to be okay. However, though, here we're talking about just Stam. Are you allowed to just read Ketuvim? Imagine right now I would read a Haftarah in English. It's not that simple. I would be Tzedek Chuvah for everybody else and everything. Okay, fine. And also with Tzibur might be a little bit different. There's obviously a lot of details in there that we would have to go into. Okay, but just to have that in mind. Fine.
Okay.
So Tashema, Hayu Ketuvim Giftit Madit Ivrit Elamit Yevanit. So these are different languages. Here it says Giftit is Coptic, Median, Ivrit, right? Elamain, or Greek. Okay, ancient Egyptian, Ever Anar from the Euphrates River, different languages. So Tashema, Hayu Ketuvim, if it was going to be written Giftit Madit Ivrit Elamit Yevanit, Afal Pishaloni Tunli Kroban, even though you may not read it, you're allowed to save it from the fire. So Tiyuvta de Rav Huna. There's a question against Rav Huna. Rav Huna said only in Lashon HaKodesh. Here it's written in Furash in other languages as well. And you still save it. Okay? Samalecha Rav Huna is going to answer you, Tanaihi, you're right. It's a machloket Tanaim. What does that mean? The Tanaim we learned in the Braita. That's the Tanakama. Tanakama says you do save it even if it's in a foreign language. You don't save it. So obviously Rav Huna is going like Rabbi Yosef. Amar Rabbi Yosef says Rabbi Yosef, so there was a story with Abba Chalafta, who ate Rabbi Gamliel Berebi in Tverias. And he found him that he was sitting at the table of Yochanan Azuf, and with an Aramaic translation of Yov, which he was reading. Amarlo, and he said, I still remember Gamliel, your great-grandfather, right? Or, sorry, your grandfather. Avi Avicha, your father's father. That he was on top of the step in the Temple Mount, in Bet HaMikdash. And he brought him Sefer Yov, translated. And he told the builder, bury it underneath the bricks. So upon hearing this, he also ordered that the Yov that he had was going to be put in Geniza. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda says, they put a trough of clay on top of it. So now, right, what's happening is he did not order it to be buried, but rather that they should just pour clay on top of it. So Amar Rabbi says, one second. I can answer two things on what you just said. Chada, the chitit b'harabait minay. Where did they have tit on Harabait? What do they have clay on? How to bite? Right? For the Temple Mount, they always use lime and sand, not teat, which is basically earth and water, which is like clay. They use lime and sand. So where's it coming from? Right? Ve'od, and furthermore, are you allowed to destroy the translations with your hands directly? But rather you place it in an unguarded place. You place it in a place which is stam, outside. They decay on their own. And once it's decayed, now you put it in Geniza. So says the Gemara, according to what we just said then, man Tanai. So which Tanaim then hold is the same machloka between Rav Chastan and Rav Huna? So says Kuftet Vav Amud Bet, right? Ilay Matana Kama Rabbi Yosef. You're going to tell me it's Tana Kama and Rabbi Yosef. The Dilma Behakam Ipalgeh. Maybe there's a machlok between them. More Savar Nitulu Likroben, more Savar Lo Nitulu Likroben. Machlok was whether you actually read from it or not. Ela Rabbi Yosef v'Tana de Kiptit. Rather Rabbi Yosef and the Tana the Braita is Coptic, right? That's what we're trying to say. Fine. So then, according to that, it comes out that really be'emet, even if it's not going to be read, right? It could still be saved. But rather, he's saying it's going to be Coptic. What's a Coptic? It didn't say Rav Huna's position, right? It only just said the other one. Okay, fine. Let's continue. Fine, so we're at Tanu Rabbanan. Okay, just give me 1 second. So it says Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita. Habirachot v'akmi'in. Remember, Kuftet Vav Amud Bet. Yeah, we're on the Amud Bet already. Habirachot v'akmi'in. So any types of birachot and amulets. Here, when it says birachot, it says the Amidah. Like, let's say they wrote down the Amidah. So it says over here like this. So birachot and kemein, אף על פי שיש בהן אותיות של שם, מעניינות הרבה שבתורה, even though they contain letters of Hashem's name and many different portions of the Torah, אין מצלין אותם מן הדלקה. You don't save it because of the fire. אלא נשרפים ממקומם, but rather you just let it burn in its place. הן והזכרותיהן, whether it's them and their names. עיקר אמרו, from here we say, כותבי ברכות כשורפי תורה. Anybody that writes down the Amidah on a parchment or on paper, it's like he's burning the Torah. Right? Why? Because you would have to let it get burned. So it's like you're burning the Torah. Right? Now, obviously, nowadays, everything changed. Because nowadays, we do write down even Torah Shebel Peh and everything else. But that was just once upon a time. There was a story with somebody that was writing different berachot in Tzaidan. They told him Ishmael. Ishmael went to check him. When Ishmael was going up the ladder, the man, he sensed Rabbi Ishmael. He took the packet of the berachot and he put it in a bucket of water. So Rabbi Ishmael went and he told the person, you're already going to be punished because you wrote it down. But now that you were afraid of me and you put it in water, and by putting it in water, you erased the names yourself, that's even going to be a bigger punishment than the first one. Right? That means the guy was afraid. He sensed, oh, they're going to catch me. What did he do? He took the berachot right away, put it into water. But now everything went off. Right? So now it's going to become even worse now. See, when he told him the punishment for the second one is even going to be worse than the first one. Reshkaluta comes and he inquired from Rabbi Ravuna. If the Holy Scriptures were written with other types of paints, whether it's red pigments, gum, copper, sulfates, or other things, Lashon HaKodesh, but in Lashon HaKodesh in Hebrew, do we save it or not? Meaning until here, we were speaking about the language. What about the language of Lashon HaKodesh? That's perfect. But the ink, right? Do you save it or not? It was a different ink other than ink. It wasn't a regular ink. So says the Gemara, the question is whether according to both mandamars. Why? We're going to ask this question according to the mandamar that you don't save it. That's only if you're going to, if it was written in Targum and in any language. But if it was written in another language, in Lashon HaKodesh, you would save it. Or Dilma, or maybe Be'emet, even according to the mandamar matzlin, that you do save it. Only if it's going to be written in dio, in ink, that it's going to be mitkayim for a long time. It's going to be standing for a long time. But over here, since it's not mikayem, they're not going to save it. Or right, sorry, they're not going to save it. So Amalei, so he comes and he answers, Em matzilim, we don't save it. Okay? So he comes and he says, we don't save it. So says the Gemara, right? Amalei em matzilim. So ask the Gemara, Rav Huna tar matzilim. Says one time, Rav Huna did teach you are able to save it. So Amalei, so he answered, Tanya, you're right. If they taught it, they taught it. My Tanya, what do they teach in the Braita exactly? Ravashi said, the Tanya is learned in the Braita. Emben Sfarim Megillah. There's no difference between Sefarim and a Megillah. Remember, Sefarim here is talking about the scriptures, the Ketubim, and Megillat Esther, right? Sefarim are able to be written in any language. But Megillah has to be written in Ashurit, which is Lashon HaKodesh, ala Sefer, on parchment, uvidyo, with ink. Okay? So, Ba'amine Ravuna Bar Chaluv Rav Nachman, says Rav Huna Rav Chaluv, he comes and he asks from Rav Nachman, Sefer Torah she'em bo lelaket 85 otiyot. If you have a Sefer Torah, but there's not enough to gather 85 letters in the Sefer Torah. Remember, we're not talking about words. We're talking about letters. Okay? Going for example, Parashat Vayibin So'aron. The Parashat Vayibin So'aron. Matzlin otan? Or Mibnei Deka or not? Meaning that you have, imagine, you have a Sefer Torah. Sefer Torah has around 305,000, I think it is, letters. Okay, there's a whole thing about 600,000 letters. They say, no, it's the hidden letters, the kudot, this, that, but I think if I remember correctly, it's around 305,000 letters in a Sefer Torah. So now, if you have 305,000 letters in a Sefer Torah, okay, and you're going to come, and you're going to, it says over here, you're going to come and you're going to save it, but there's only 85 letters left. So imagine.
It's not the number of letters that are between the two nun that we said it's a sefer on itself. The inverse nun.
Yeah, no. That's the example.
Yes, but they don't try to find what is the minimum letters to make a sefer.
That I think that's why they chose 85. They chose 85 because Parashat Vayibin So'aron, which is between the two nuns, has 85.
Okay. That's the one. Oh, I didn't know that's the.
Yeah. That's what we're trying to say. No, but what he's trying to say is that within the entire Sefer Torah, you don't have 85. And I gave you an example. Where do we see a concept of Parashat 85? Vayibin So'aron.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So the question is, do you save it or not? So Amarlo, he says, 1 second. 1 second, why do you ask about the entire Sefer Torah? Ask about Vayibin So'aron. Which means, what happens if you only have this section? You have a parchment of only Vayibin So'aron Vayim Moshe, right? Do you save it or not? So, if the Sefer Torah is lacking, right, then there's no question. But since it has the names of Hashem, even though it doesn't have 85 letters, you're going to save it. When are we going to save it? Sefer Torah that does not have sufficient letters, and it does not have any divine names as well. Which means, Vayibin So'aron Vayom Moshe does not actually have 85 letters. Because if you actually think about it, it's only one pasuk. Vayibin So'aron Vayom Moshe right? No, the Hashiven was extra, right? So it's very short. It doesn't have 85 letters. But it has the name of Hashem. So already for the name of Hashem, you would save it. The question is, what about in this case? Okay, why? Because if you had the name of Hashem in the Sefer Torah, so already for the name of Hashem, it would have been enough. Obviously, you don't have the name of Hashem, and you don't even have 85 letters. Okay? So that's what he says. Since it has askarot, even though it doesn't have 85 letters, matzilin. So Kika Mibaili, when is the question? The Sefer Torah does not have to save. So what's halacha? Amalei, he says, En matzilin. We do not save it. Okay? So says the Gemara. Today we're going to ask the following question. Targum shekatavo mikra when you have Aramaic passage that's written in Lashon HaKodesh. Umikra sheketavo targum, or you have targum, which is written in, right? Or you have chumash written in targum, or targum in mikra. Uchtav ivrit, or ktav ivrit, matzilim mipnei hadleka. Right? You could save it because of the dleka. Ve'en tzarich lomar targum shebe'ezra v'shebedaniel shebetorah. But it goes without saying that you're not going to say to do with the targum which is in Ezra, Daniel, and the Torah, which are written in Aramaic. So one more time, what are we saying? He's saying if you have Targum written in Mikra or Mikra written in Targum, so basically you switched from Lashon HaKodesh to Aramaic, Aramaic to Lashon HaKodesh, or Ktav Ivrit, Ivri script. Okay, remember the Ivri script was from Eved Anar. Okay, that's where the Lashon came from, Ivrit, right? So it says over here, Matzilim mipnei hadleka. So you could save it. And we don't have to save the Targum or the everything which is in Ezra or Daniel and the Torah. So Targum Shabbat Torah ma'aniyu. What is the Targum in the Torah then? That's what the Gemara is asking. So answers the Gemara, Yegar Sa'aduta. Yegar Sa'aduta is Targum. From Gal Ed. Gal Ed is Yegar Sa'aduta. Ed, testimony. Sa'aduta is Anan Sahade. Sahade is witnesses. Yegar is a Gal, is the pile. Gal Ed is Yegar Sa'aduta. And even though you don't have 85 letters, right? So you see from here, this goes against Rav Nachman, that he says that anything that has less than 85 letters, you don't save it. Here you do save it. So answers the Gemara, when was the Braita taught? It's taught to be completing the quota of 85 letters. Meaning if you're going to complete it, because obviously Yegar Sa'aduta for sure on its own is nothing. It's only if you have Yegar Sa'aduta to complete 85 letters. Okay, Bailu, so we have another question. These 85 letters, the Chunasot and Fuzerot, we're talking about that they're all together or all dispersed throughout the entire Sefer Torah. So Ravuna says they have to be together. 85 letters together. Rav Chasta says even if it's going to be dispersed throughout the entire Torah. So Meitve, we're going to ask the following question. Sefer Torah Shebala, when you have a Sefer Torah that was Bala, that was worn out, if you have 85 letters, for example, the Parasha B'Min Soharo, Matzinin, if not, you don't save it. Shufta de Ravuna, this is against Ravuna. Because Ravuna says, right, that it has to be together. Here it's in between everything. So, Tirgamad Chastali with Ravuna Betevod, we're talking about, no. We're talking about, according to Ravuna, it's talking about the words are together, even though the letters are not together. So that means whole words are scattered, one here and one there, but they have a sum of totaling 85. But they're whole words. Okay? Fine. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned to the Braita. So here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made simanim, and that's what Jean-Paul just mentioned before 2 minutes ago. He made simanim above and below, the two noms. Why? He said, Lomar to teach us, that's not the proper place for it to be there. Right? Rabbi says, Lo min Hashem uzeh. It's not for that reason that the signs appear. And so it's a separate sefer in itself. And obviously we're going to have to go into what does that mean? It's not supposed to be there. It's not in order. They put it there purposely. Or that it's like, to separate, that it's like a separate sefer in itself. But obviously, Bezrat Hashem, there's a lot of what to speak about. Fine, so Bezrat Hashem, we continue to
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good